Europe is burning because of an unforgiving climate crisis. A deadly heat wave has turned forests into fire traps, entire villages into evacuation zones, and soaring temperatures into silent killers. In Spain, a wildfire has left at least a dozen people dead, and in Germany, more than 5,000 people are estimated to have died from extreme heat this year alone. The question that we are asking is that is Europe witnessing a climate emergency, or is this becoming the new normal? The heat is no longer just uncomfortable, it is becoming extremely deadly as well. Across Europe, an unprecedented heat wave is rewriting weather records and leaving behind a trail of destruction. In southern Spain, a raging wildfire has killed at least a dozen people, while 19 others remain missing. The blaze erupted in Almeria province and after what authorities believe was the collapse of a power line. And within minutes, powerful winds and bone-dry vegetation turned the spark into the inferno. Now, entire communities were caught off guard. Some victims were trapped inside their cars, desperately trying to outrun the flames, and others were discovered in open fields, unable to escape the fast-moving wildfire. Now, officials fear that the death toll could still rise, and nearly 1,000 residents have been evacuated. Roads remain closed, and Spain's military emergency unit has joined hundreds of firefighters battling what regional authorities are calling the worst wildfire in Spain's history. But Spain is not alone. Germany is facing another silent disaster. The country's Public Health Institute estimates that more than 5,100 people have already died this year due to extreme heat, and most of the victims were elderly and many above the age of 75. The deadliest period came during the final week of June when temperatures crossed 40 degrees Celsius in several regions. The scorching weather overwhelmed hospitals, put emergency services under immense pressure, and caused deaths to surge far beyond normal levels. And across Europe, the picture is equally alarming. France, Belgium, Netherlands, and Spain have together reported thousands of excess deaths linked to the June heatwave. Now, Western Europe has just recorded its hottest June since records began. And scientists warn that this is no longer an isolated event. It is part of a dangerous pattern. Climate change is heating Europe twice as fast as global average. That means that longer heat waves, more intense droughts, and forests that ignite with terrifying speed. The consequences are becoming impossible to ignore. Last year alone, more than 1 million hectares of land burned across European Union, the worst wildfire season on record. Experts warn that unless greenhouse gas emissions are drastically reduced, extreme heat, massive wildfires, and climate-linked deaths will become even more frequent. And for decades, Europe was seen as one of the world's safest regions from extreme weather. And today, its cities are baking, its forests are burning, and its people are dying. The climate crisis is no longer a warning for the future. It is unfolding right now. And for more on this, I am being joined by Mahesh Pelawat, who is the Vice President of Meteorology and Climate Change at SkyMet. Thank you so much, Mr. Pelawat, for joining me on the broadcast. My question to you is that do you think that what explains this extreme climate change that we are witnessing in Europe, and do you think that this is just an effect that we'll witness this year, or is this going to be a new normal? 40 degree, 35 degree temperatures in Europe is going to be a new normal in the coming years?
Yes, we think that it is a new normal now because greenhouse gases are increasing, are being infused in the atmosphere day by day, and
Right.
air temperature is rising. The global temperature is also rising, and it has already risen by 1.3 to 1.4 degree from pre-industrial era, and this particular event, which we have been witnessing over many parts of West and Southwest Europe is due to heat dome impact. The anticyclone is persisting since last many days, and due to weak westerly winds, which usually give the weather system which develops over Atlantic Ocean, they move in easterly direction, and they can push this heat dome away so that the trapped warm air can escape. But these winds are also very weak. But now they are strengthening. That's why the heat wave is easing out now. You can explain this heat dome impact as an anticyclone persists for longer duration, and the air starts sinking. The sinking air gets compressed and warms adiabatically, and the heat is unable to escape. There's a leak type situation which do not allow the warm air to escape. And day by day, more insolation, the solar radiation increases the heat over land mass. So this is the one of the factor, and another factor is there was a
Ah,
subtropical
brilliant.
wind. The Saharan, the warm winds of Sahara Desert were also moving over these areas, leading to intense heat. Yeah.
To ask you that Europe has long positioned itself as a champion of, climate, safe climate, green energy. But do you think that it has done enough to prepare itself for extreme weather events such as the heat wave that the continent is witnessing right now?
See, not only Europe, any country in the world, they are not prepared enough to mitigate the impact of this type of heat wave, because we have seen because the temperature normally remains below 30 or in the lower 30s during peak summer season, also over most parts of the Europe. That's why there the you can say stress level or the comfort zone is between 24 to 26 degrees Celsius. When temperature increases, they are not unable to bear. They are unable to bear this type of heat stress, and the houses are also built like this. They preserve the warmth. So because the house and infrastructure is also being made in such a manner to trap the heat inside the houses. There's
Right.
no air condition, no cooler, no fan. So now the day by day this type of heat wave will increase, and now due to climate change, the frequency, intensity, and the duration of heat wave will continue to increase.
Right. Mr. Pelawat, also, since you have mentioned that 40 degrees in Europe is not as deadly as 40 degrees in India, but what lessons should countries like India can learn from countries like Europe?
See, they should start some measures that to urban cooling and the reduction in greenhouse gases and the restoration of green cover, the reduction in greenhouse gases, moving towards renewable energy, so that the impact of climate change will gradually reverse. And we have seen in 2019 there was heat wave. 2022, there was a record-breaking heat wave at 24, 25, and 20. Now we are in 26. So this is now recurrence of heat wave. So this may be a new normal, and we can see more and more intense heat wave, and which will be longer duration and will be very intense in coming years also. So until and unless we reverse the impact of climate change by going towards renewable energy, restoring green cover across the globe, this impact will not be reduced.